And a very good afternoon to you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Speed Gaming 2, and welcome to our Link to the Past Randomizer 2 p.m. daily race. We've got a good one for you today, folks. It is a miscellaneous Monday mystery seed. I am Captain MD13. I will be joined shortly by Leslie Pro 04. He's just getting a couple things worked out, and then we'll be good to go. So, as we said, folks, we've got a mystery seed for you today, and based on what we have on screen, we've already got a couple of details revealed already, that it is an Randomizer seed, and we have an assured sword. So, with that in mind, well, end up with an Ambrosia start. We could have a couple of other things. We could have a pedestal required victory seed. Many questions that will soon be answered over the course of the next couple of hours. And Orange and Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna are restream runners, and they will put on a good show for you. Here we go. And, well, we know it's not an Ambrosia seed because the uncle's telling us red mail's for cowards. So if it was an Ambrosia seed, we'd know the uncle would be telling us where the Pegasus boots are, but we start with a Moon Pearl in Link's house. We also have a standard start by the looks of things. Two pennants in the light world, blue and red for Hera and Eastern, and a red crystal at Desert. So with a sword in hand, the standard start shouldn't be too bad. Let's see what our dear old uncle has for us this afternoon. It is a shield, so we actually have a practically vanilla start. Alright, so item in the uncle's chest is our glove, so we're already 2 out of the 3 ways towards Dark World access. One moment, folks. Alright, so yeah, with the sword in hand, blue guard's not much of an issue. No need to rely on bomb strats. We'll have a pretty standard escape start by the looks of things. A glove and a pearl are 2 good starts, but they won't really give us much in the way of progression. However, if our runners cannot find a bomb, they will not have to worry about backup escape since they can just push their way in. Now, it looks like, I guess Randomizer doesn't randomize the enemies in a standard start, because it looks like our enemies have actually been relatively mundane so far, all things considering, despite the fact that we do have Randomizer based on the file select settings. Okay, so there's no enemy randomizer, so it could be bosses. Okay. That's why I have you folks in chat for. Now, I'm not sure if it's health randomizer. I haven't seen our runners take a hit from anything, or haven't watched their health change. It looks like it's relatively normal so far. Let's see what Zelda has for us today. Just a little bit of her love. So both of our runners, keeping it pretty tight-knit so far. It looks like there's only about a 3 or 4 second difference between them. And we're going to see our runners make their way to Dark Cross. They will have a free lamp cone, courtesy of a free lamp cone, courtesy of Zelda's Tiara. We're just assuming that that's where the lamplight's coming from. Because it is a standard start. Just in case you don't get the lamp, the game provides one, or the randomizer provides one for you. And we'll see what our item in Dark Cross and hopefully the back of Escape is, but I don't know if bombs are in the guard item pool drops at this point.
If that's the case, then your best bet for finding bombs might be off either the ropes or the rodents. Also, good afternoon, everybody. Literally
Welcome
got
to the...
caught. Literally got the buzz while I was in my pajamas. Well, got the page rather while I was in my pajamas. So I just figured I'd wear something a little more appropriate for commentary.
I don't think anybody can see us up here in the booth, but even still, nevertheless, welcome aboard.
Looks like based off the kill thingamahoozy we saw on the title screen, I think we've got some form of Randomizer, but these enemies aren't shuffled.
Yeah, so far I haven't seen anything of particular note. It doesn't particularly changed either, because that rope just did a half a heart, as you would expect. Doesn't... Oh, there's a bomb drop, so the ropes have our bombs.
The orange got one too.
Yeah, now they both have power gloves. That was, by the way, a perfectly synchronized Dark Cross chest opening. I'd like to point that out. But yeah, they have, even if they didn't have bombs, they have an early glove from Uncle's chest, so they have a very nice early back of escape access anyway. Even still, though, someplace you don't want to have to go back for later.
Oh, absolutely not.
And neck, our runners will be picking up an extra $50, a tier 2 shield, and even more sticks.
Well, we'll take the tier 2 sticks. Or rather, the tier 2 shield, I should say. So that does, according to chat, the map's in Sanctuary, so there's no need to open that one up.
Yeah, this has been whenever you're able to skip a check like this, that's always a major plus. Saves you a few extra precious seconds, and we've got about 3 seconds difference in the escape exit. 6:25 for Orange, 6:28 for Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna.
But Scruff Ninja Tuna does open it anyway. Oh, this is an entrance shuffle!
Oh boy. Well, that spices things up a notch, and Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna demonstrating frustration already.
That makes things very interesting, because now we don't know what's going to spit us out where at this juncture. So, yeah, definitely grab a snack, because this is going to be a good one.
Yeah, looks like Lumberjack's hut is the one of the fortune tellers, and the top right of the Lost Woods is the right side race game hut.
Which you need bombs to be able to access the back of, bombs or boots. And we got a bottle in the forest. Once we find the bottle, once we find the sick kid, we'll be able to do that check.
Nice blue rupees from one of those tree poles. Oh, we found Lumberjack Ledge, but it is only $50.
Well, we've already found the drop-in for it, so it's extra money, which our runners are probably going to be needing for bombs.
So, actually, one nice thing is that because we now know that Lumberjack Ledge leads to Back of Escape, and Back of Escape is full clear, we won't have to worry about AGA 1 and Pegasus boots for that. So that's actually kind of a sigh of relief for our runners.
Major, and Scruff did just get bombs by lifting up a rock. It's only one, but it'll get put to good use.
It's a start, for sure. And I think Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna might be thinking about going to check that race game.
Oh, we found Spiral Cave. Now, the thing to note for entrance is that this is a connector cave, albeit a long one. So this is going to spit you out somewhere else. And speaking of caves, Orange has found Ice Rod Cave. which has 3 bombs, which was perfect in terms of timing because he was out.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see where this puts both of our runners out, because they already have a fairly decent chunk of Dark World access. Since they have the Moon Pearl, they can at least walk around. Oh, interesting.
That's interesting.
So that's a big 20. I think we might have a hard mode seed and we're locked to Fire Shield.
Potentially. Well, the well wound up being at the well, which is a relief. And Orange got the hammer, so now it's just a Moon Pearl for Dark World access. Question is where?
Well, that Moon Pearl was conveniently in Link's house at the start of the game, so we have Dark World access.
Nice.
Nothing much on the bottle vendor, just a little bit of love.
Now we've seen the back of the race game is right in Kakariko, so that's one connector figured out right there.
It's figured out, and it's pretty much useless. Now, the next $1 million question is going to be, where is Ganon hiding? We've been finding a lot of fairy fountains so far at the start here.
Not necessarily a bad thing once our runners find the mirror, and... So Sanctuary and that usual drop, as we find the chess game, with 300 rupees as our prize.
That's a pretty good return.
Well, if we have powder, or we get Cane of Samaria and Mushroom to do fake powder, we'll actually be able to just drop on in and clear that check.
Yeah, that's another drop down. The drop downs in particular are going to be the important ones, because again, one of these does have to lead to Ganon. Granted, it could still be vanilla on the pyramid, but still plenty of other options to weigh in before that happens. We do, however, find Meyer Shed in the meantime, giving us another 300 and another another 20 rupees. Okay.
Not sure what this means, unless...
We might be locked to... I doubt we're going to be seeing much more in the way of upgrades at this point. I think we may be locked into Green Mail Fire Shield.
If that's the case, then that means the only thing we'd be getting past that would be a Master Sword. If that's the case, then we're locked into exit to potentially Expert mode.
A Fire Shield means it is hard mode, so I'm still curious as to why we've seen... I'm still curious as to why we've seen 2 20s, because the only other progressive items I can think of are swords, which that would have given us Master, or shields, which we've already got 2 of, or mail upgrades, which we're still on green.
And we have found Agina, which some runners will call Fart Cave.
Orange, meanwhile, has found Paradox Cave, a nice treasure trove of items to be found here.
Oh, without a doubt, we start with a heart container and 10 arrows in no particular order.
Yeah, and 2 heart containers also confirms this is not Expert, because I think Expert limits you to only 1 heart container.
Yeah, that's true. Wait, that would have to make this hard because some of the heart pieces were taken out too. Scruff did find a shop and purchase some bombs.
Oh, there's our single arrow of destiny. There's a lot of arrows so far.
Yeah, all these arrows and no bow. By the way, that was a magic cape. And now for a sequence to get back over. Ooh. I thought Orange had that bomb drop. Oh, we got Hype Cave.
We're getting all the high-density checks out of the way nice and early so far this seed. And that was garbage.
Yep, as usual. Hype Cave, rubbish. Paradox, not that great.
Yeah, all we got out of Paradox Cave was a hard container, which granted isn't necessarily a bad thing for hard mode, and the cave. Yeesh. Well, we can at least now check this drop down, courtesy of the hammer. Both our runners kind of really making synchronized plays here.
It makes sense to do that. And that turned out to be a fairy fountain, and we found the potion shop.
Interesting. Good spot for it, too, all things considering.
Absolutely, because that's a flute to 2. And then turn in the mushroom, flute back to 3, find out what you get.
Mr. Shroff Ninja Tuna appears to have found the graveyard ledge cave. Oh, wait, I think that was, Orange already found that, never mind.
Yeah, they're basically going back and forth over checks now, which in a heads-up situation you do tend to see from time to time.
Alright, back at the tavern can't really be randomized because this is the only back door in the game. But back at the tavern itself only has a few bucks. So a decent amount of shops in Kakariko, and with all the money in the glove we have, Zora's already in Logic too. So now the question is, where do we go from here? We can check the Death Mountain entrance with the glove. Yeah, both of our runners are already packing well over 1,000 rupees.
This is a check South Shore situation to me still.
Yeah,
and Orange is gonna do that by way of going into Dark World.
Ooh, very interesting call, because yeah, we can at least get our Dark World map check. We have our green pendant on Misery Mire and our last 5/6 crystal at Swamp Palace.
Interesting thing is, with full entrance shuffle, where did the dungeons go?
That is a good question. Of all the entrances we have seen, none of them have led to a dungeon up to this point. And that one in Dark Link's house doesn't help either.
Because that also means the bomb vendor for Big Bomb also got moved. Question is, where?
Wouldn't it be hilarious if it was right here? Nope, it's not. It's another fairy fountain.
Yeah, but this also means that there's another Bonk Rock entrance that you don't typically see get used at all, literally next to Link's house, that could come into play. So in this mode, there are 2 sets of Bonk Rocks. The one by Sanctuary and the one by Link's house.
Yeah, we still can't check either of those yet. No boots.
We can still get the pyramid item as usual, so that hasn't changed. No, this would be a hard mode seed.
Oh, you need 2 crystals to beat Ganon. Wow, Game is not asking for much.
That changes things a bit, and we got ourselves a boomerang at the pyramid, which Orange is gonna pick up.
So yeah, to beat Ganon, not asking for much besides a sword upgrade and 2 crystals. And a fire source, of course. Yeah, I haven't seen any particularly wild damage values in the from the enemies, so I'm assuming that we're only having boss shuffle at this point.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, but that leads to another question. Is it a simple boss shuffle, a full boss shuffle, or chaos?
Considering how few crystals we need, we may not have to, we may not be able to fully explore that possibility today, but we'll see.
mean, we may have the 2 crystals needed to beat Ganon, but here's the thing. What if you still need to get a 3rd crystal because a boss was holding a required item?
Very true. And there's also not to mention we might need more crystals to get into GT, which might have our other sword. And we have found, on the subject of GT, we have found it in Palace of Darkness, ironically.
So instead of 7 crystals needed to enter like the vanilla game, you just need 3 crystals. So, might as well ask what number the big key is. It'll be like...
I mean, I guess. Oh, it's on the torch.
But it's boots locked.
Oh boy.
That's the end of that.
Oh well, nobody guessed. Nobody guessed 3. Well, somebody did, but it was after we saw it. But that now, do you still have to defeat Aga 2 in GT for the pyramid to open?
I don't think so, because when it's a 2 crystal requirement, I think the hole opens. Oh, nope, I'm already being corrected in chat. Thank you, chat, for being on the ball, because I am not familiar with anything really outside.
Yeah, because I was about to say, it doesn't look like fast scanning, because usually only fast scanning is what keeps the pyramid open nice and early, but not the case this time. And just for clarification, the pyramid might not even lead to Ganon at this point.
Yeah, so it might be just 2 to find out where Ganon is. Well, depending on where that went. And we got ourselves Super Bunny Cave on Orange's side.
Yeah, this is a good, this isn't a bad spot to find. 2 items for grabs here. So now the question becomes, where do we go from here? There's still a few entrances we can check. We haven't seen Sahasrarla's hut. We haven't seen Eastern Palace. We haven't seen Vanilla Agina's cave.
We also have not seen the Dark World equivalent of Sahasrarla's hut.
True.
But we do see a fire source in the Fire Rod. And that's in Super Bunny Cave.
That's a pretty important one to find, especially if we come across something like Skull Woods. Although actually, Skull Woods is kind of tough to randomize an entrance randomizer, isn't it?
I would think so, because of it has 4 entrances, if memory serves.
The front, yes. The back, no. Okay.
Now, this is interesting. We've got both runners in the Skull Woods area, but here's the thing. Only one can get to the back, because only one is the Fire Rod, while Scruff does have the big key and looks to be setting up for a bomb jump to get to it.
This makes a lot of sense. It's an extra check you can just get out of the way. The Gibdo's given Orange a little bit of trouble, but nothing the Boomerang can't fix.
And Scruff takes a Gibdo hug, which is a 100% bad idea. Although that might have been intentional.
I don't think it was, because he never got the chest yet.
Ah, so he got caught. That does happen sometimes.
There's another heart container in Skull Woods, so that's one of the two Skull Woods items. I don't think we've seen the other one.
The nose has been burned, revealing the Tower of Hera.
Ooh, this is really good news.
Hmm.
Yeah, this is good news for Orange, because if there is something in Hera Basement, he has a very easy method of access. Not to mention, we could finally check hint tiles, because I think it's a 50-50% chance in Mystery if they're on.
Orange isn't interested in checking, though.
Yeah, most runners at this stage of A Link to the Past Randomizer typically won't check for hints. They can run pretty well without it.
Well, true. They at least for the hints that we get now. If we got more hints along the variety of, say, Ocarina of Time Randomizer, then I could see hints coming more into play, as Scruff taking a Death Warp to get back to the entrance.
Ooh. There is the Cane of Burna in the middle of Tower of Hera. Not a bad find indeed.
Bomb jump over to get to the big chest, which is the compass. That is a gutsy bomb jump to do, because that's a 2-pixel window to hit, and if you fall, it's a significant time loss.
Yeah, we're coming up on our first appearance of Mold. Well, actually, well, it is Moldorm. No, it is Vitreous.
No, that is a Vitreous.
That is
nasty.
really dangerous.
Fighter Sword is not going to do any damage to it outside of spins. Orange realizes it and takes a fall, which I do not blame him for whatsoever. Fighter Sword Vitreous is an awful experience.
Yeah, and Orange, after realizing this, decides, I'm just going to take advantage of the fact that I don't take fall damage and just leave the place. Yeah, that wouldn't thankfully start until Ocarina of Time. 300 rupees on Bumper Ledge, by the way.
We are going to get an entrance check to Bumper Cave, and it is another fairy fountain. That seems to be a theme that's going on right now.
Well, there is a reason a lot of other entrances are ignored when it's not entrance shuffle, because they lead to these fairy fountains.
Or they're dead ends with NPCs that don't really tell you anything. Like that one right there. That one's in Kakariko Village in Vanilla.
Okay, so I think, looks like Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna's next port of call is going to be Village of Outcast checks. Lots of entrances to be checked down here. Oh, well, we found the exit to Bumper Ledge. Or Bumper Cave, rather, I should say.
Yeah, the only way you're going to get through that connector is like this, using the cape and falling down the hole, which will take you down to the first floor of Bumper Cave.
And it just dumps you right out at the top. Okay,
well,
so...
at least it was worth your time in terms of money.
Yeah, money is definitely no longer an issue for our runners over the course of this seed. They do have a bottle that they can fill up with expensive blue goo if they need to. So, not many dividends paying out for that magic cape just yet.
Chad is pointing out one thing that did not come up in this particular seed. You can take a backward, when you're going through Bumper Cave backwards, the hook shot works to get Link through the bumper.
Fair enough. And I think Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna may be taking an intentional, well, maybe not. I'm curious as to why I might have just taken the health refill.
Yeah, I've done that myself in that situation. Now, he's going to open up Hera, and when he gets to the top, I don't see him. I mean, we got a waterfall cave, which is just 21 rupees, and the bottle is, well, that's free green potion right there.
And considering how many magic-heavy items we found, that bottle of green goo isn't actually that bad of a find. Because we now have Cape, Cane, and Fire Rod, three very useful, very magic-intensive items, and we have found Blind's hut in the Village of Outcasts. What?
I mean, it is kind of fitting in a sense, but still. Whoa, we got a bow! And, oh, that's really nice! Half magic!
Blind the Thief carrying value today.
And a rupee stash hidden in the back.
So, nice bow. That really helps us because with a Fire Rod, if we find Eastern Palace, assuming the big key is not vanilla, we can, in fact, get to the back and fight the boss, whatever that boss may be.
Yeah, that's, of course, speaking in terms of logic. However, most runners will be able to just dark walk it to that particular chest and not worry about it.
Indeed. It also should be noted that at this point, I think it's a safe bet that we don't have a key sanity here.
Yeah, I can't confirm no key sanity, but what we can confirm is that Thieves Town is at Thieves Town.
Well, at least that's one thing they don't have to be thinking about. How many 300 rupees have we seen up to this point? I'm pretty sure I lost count at 4. I think that is all of them. Ooh, Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna electing to try hammer strats on Viddy, but using the much wider field in the back, and the fact that it basically allows him to ignore the lightning.
That's really smart.
Unfortunately, though, this isn't, unless this has a valuable item or the key to Hera Basement, this is not going to pay out too well for Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna, as this is a pendant dungeon.
We got a mirror.
Alright, good spot for the mirror, all things considering. Another hard container in Thieves Town as well. I believe that is... Is that 2 items in the front or 3?
I think it was at least 2.
It was definitely at least 2. So, maybe a couple of items in the, maybe 2, at least 1 item in the back. But we have the hammer anyway, so the big chest is not a concern for Orange today.
Oh, and there is one thing that I have noticed prior to this, but haven't taken much thought of until now. We have Select Swap on. The boss is the Landmos, but they have been roasted.
Yeah, Landmole is a pretty easy boss with the equipment we currently have, and that gives Orange one of the 2 crystals he needs to beat Ganon.
Oh, Vitreous just does not allow entry into the arena.
Oh, that's a punishing one. Big time.
Rage slashes, I'm out of here.
Oh, I think we found the Bonk Rocks cave, but that's just extra big 20. So that's 1 crystal already off the table. Now, there's still 2 major questions. Where's our Master Sword? Number 1. Number 2, where is Ganon actually chilling at? Because if he is still vanilla, we are boots locked out of that, because we still kinda need to get that big key on the torch.
Here's a shop check that we're getting from Scruff, and it's just a fortune teller, which is unfortunate, because if you're ever wondering where you can buy the level 2 shield in vanilla, it's right here. But it's also the shop that sells arrows.
Alright, so actually, come to think of it, have we seen all of our other drop-downs? I think we actually may have at this point, in which case, Ganon is vanilla.
In which case, we would need boots for the torch, as well as hookshot to cross Moldorm 2.
Unless our runners feel like hovering, which wouldn't shock me. Alright, Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna getting the treasure trove that is Blind's hut. I'm trying to think what other, Actually, you know what? Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna probably... Both runners actually probably would have really liked that bow for Vitreous.
Oh, absolutely, without a doubt, because Bo makes Vitreous a much simpler fight.
Oh, you know what? Actually, I'm not sure. Do we know what the crystal requirement is to, Well, actually, no. We know where Ganon's tower is, so never mind. Now, if the Ganon's tower entrance is something important, and we need to collect more crystals for that, that's gonna really start raising some eyebrows, but we're miles away from checking that. We're still waiting on... A, we need to figure out how to get up to Death Mountain, and B, we still need Titan's Mitts.
At this point, for all we know, our Death Mountain access could be vanilla, or we could need the flute to get up there first.
Alright, Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna heading on quickly through Thieves Town. It should be noted, Orange did not check the back of Thieves Town for the other two items. Oh, Orange finding out that left side race game exit is just the middle of Paradox Cave again.
Although sometimes in entrance you do need mirror for that.
Ooh, this is some pretty heads-up routing from Orange, using the mirror to check the dig game, the race game real quick before checking dig game. Seeing a lot of big 20s on the dig game so far, but still not the item we seek.
And that's anywhere between 1 and 30 digs.
Well, that was 21 digs for a big 20. Other words, not a good dig game.
Well, we are going to get a back of Thieves Town check out of Scruff. This could be something.
And Chad is actually correcting me that it is, we did see 3 items in the front of Thieves Town, so it is only actually 1 item in the back, so I do understand why Orange would leave this behind, because yeah, it is 1 item. It's highly unlikely it'll be anything of use at this point. Stumpy, meanwhile, just giving us a big 20. We're getting a look at the Hype Cave entrance here.
That floor destruction might have been out of habit, because with a boss shuffle on, you don't necessarily need to do that.
Yeah, you don't, yeah, the boss is just there regardless of who it is, even if it is blind. Which is somewhat unfortunate, because now you can't do the script. Oh, this is a good idea. Orange is going to... Oh, well, we found Palace of Darkness, which is not full clearable, but there is a lot we can take a look at here.
Yeah, having Bo basically puts the vast majority of the dungeon in check.
Not only that, Fire Rod is a partially valid light source to get us through at least a couple of rooms. So, like the, below the Harmless Hellway, for example.
Yeah, the dark basement's doable.
Whoa!
Oh my! That could be required, as Scruff has come up with the boots, and it could be a long while before Orange goes back there.
Yeah, actually...
That is the danger of skipping the last item in Thieves Town because you might skip something important like that.
And just like that, I may have to see myself out after this race for cursing this seed.
Oh, hey, I cursed Weekly Seed a couple nights ago in the Mario 3 community, so, yeah, that was a bad.
Well, fairly early big key for Pod, at least. But yeah, that spices things up, because yeah, again, we do need those boots, because Ganon is vanilla, and the big key is on the GT torch.
So those boots are definitely required, especially if Ganon turns out to be in the pyramid.
And yeah, it's like you said, especially since that's only one check, it could be a very long time before Orange comes back in that direction. So, Orange could be looking for those boots for a while. And, actually, he's not thinking about it right now because he doesn't know about GT. I think only Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna knows about GT. I think.
And our Bonk Rock entrance is an important one, as this is where we drain the dam.
Yeah, a feature of Entrance Shuffle is that upon draining the dam, it will remain drained for the remainder of the seed. And if we have further progression in Swamp Palace, that's just going to add more to the value of Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna's Pegasus boots.
But Orange just came up with some value of his own in the flippers.
Fascinating. So Flippers does give us a few extra places to check. We can now check Zora Ledge, we can now check the Waterfall Fairy Cave. And don't worry, Palace of Darkness just forgot to pay the lighting bill.
Which is par for Pod, I might add. Oh, there's the Titan's Mitts, and where did the Sea House wind up?
King's Tomb. So
yet
another boots check that is paying out with very significant progression here for Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna. And that's some pretty big news too, because with Titan's Mitts in tow, once we get the flute, we can check the Mire area, number one. Number two, Titan's Mitts helps us, actually, you know what? We could get to Ice Palace's front door now. At least we know how.
What we have now, our Death Mountain entrance, is actually Spectacle Rocks Cave. Now you can see what the item is. 3 bombs. No, thank you. I do believe Ellie's gonna pick him up, because I think he's trying to line up the bomb jump here.
Yeah, now I didn't see what Orange found in the Dark Maze, but I'm pretty sure at least one of them was a dungeon item, because it looks like all 3 of his dungeon item slots were filled up. So he has a map and a compass.
So that bomb jump has put Tuna on East Death Mountain.
Yeah, that's really good news for Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna, because there's a lot of entrances he can check here, and a lot of checks. And because with Mirror and Hammer, he can reach pretty much all of Death Mountain. He's found Mimic Cave, too.
And that's just the red boomerang, so both boomerangs have been accounted for.
Yeah, Orange is not hesitating to go all the way and take down Helmasaur King. This would be his second crystal. Upon a successful take... not even Helmasaur King, I should stress. Possibly. But yeah, assuming this is a defeatable boss, Orange will have his second crystal.
That's a gossip NPC on Scruff's side. Nice takedown of the turtle party room.
Now, interestingly, despite the fact that this is hard mode, we are still running only on Fighter Sword here at the moment. I do believe since this is hard, we are expected to go up to Tempered, and it looks like we've got a second Land Molus here in Palace of Darkness.
And these Lamolas clearly haven't seen much sun because their skin tone is purple.
Well, thankfully, nothing a little bit of extra heat from the Fire Rod can't fix, or not. But that is Orange's second crystal, so once he figures out, gets a Master Sword, and B, figures out how to get to Ganon, there is not much left for Orange to be looking for this seed. Possibly. Now, we still haven't found the big bomb shop yet. Nope. Bomb's on the library. The underground library.
Now, I think for Orange, we're gonna get a look at Mini Moldorm Cave, or what is normally Mini Moldorm Cave.
Yeah, interestingly, we have not seen Mini Moldorm Cave yet this seed. Granted, there's still a ton of entrances to look at, but that is one of the higher density... Ooh, Spike Cave. And he's just bulldozing right through it. With a cane and half magic, this should be a fairly trivial check.
Just a big 20, and Orange is taking a health refill to do the Spike Walk back.
Alright, so Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna has found the useless half of Ice Rod Cave, basically, but we have seen the useful half of Ice Rod Cave at this point. We have also now just found Sick Kid.
That too, a big 20.
I think this is actually, Orange is giving us our first look so far of the day at Lake Hylia Island, which is just some extra cash. To answer question, Chad, is it possible to be fast Ganon? No. The pyramid. We've been informed earlier that the pyramid is always closed, regardless of whether or not it's fast Ganon. So either way, we still have to beat Agatu. Assuming, again, of course, Ganon is vanilla. Ganon's entrance. Which I am like legitimately trying to think if there are any drop downs we've missed. I don't think there are.
We've already checked Lumberjack Tree, I presume, or rather that area.
Yeah, we checked Lumberjack, we checked Magic Bat, we checked Well. We checked Back of Escape. Are there any I am missing? Oh, here's the, K45 item. And we have found...
Back of Hookshot Cave.
And unfortunately, there's nothing Orange can do to check that since we are looking for... Oh, there's another shop. Since we are looking for, or since he's looking for either boots or a hookshot to check anything down there. I believe that is a Sank Heart in the King's Tomb discovered at the Hammerpegs entrance. Ah, so there's actually two, I think actually that means there are two entrances on the table. Well, actually, yeah, Back of Escape was, or I should say Uncle was vanilla, so... We have not found the Smith house yet, no. But I think we're out of drop-downs, so Ganon does have to be vanilla. All right, Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna checking the actual dam entrance, and it looks like it's Hasrula's other hut in Kakariko, which is a connector. And it takes us to the top of Light Bumper Ledge. I did not see what was on the floating island.
10 arrows is what it looked like to me.
Okay. But now Orange is up on Dark Death Mountain as well. He's finding a couple of fairy fountains.
And this is interesting. We've got the blacksmith in pod.
Yeah, not something you see every day, to be perfectly honest.
And the mini Moldorms are now living closer to Daddy Moldorm on Death Mountain.
No, they're not. Daddy Moldorm's on the other end of the world near Skull Woods. But we do find a book, which means we can now check the front door of Desert Palace.
As well as get a preview of what's on the Ether tablet. And who wants to check Pedestal anyway?
Yeah, at this point, actually, at this point, for Go mode, we are looking for, at this point, just a hookshot and a sword, right? As far as we know?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, because we've picked up two logical crystals at this point. We just need... we know where boots are hanging out at. So we just need to, yeah, hookshot and second sword upgrade. Alright, Orange seeing the second half of Spectacle Rock now from the other side. Now, if hints were turned on, this would actually end up being a really good potential play for Orange if he elected to check them, because if hints are on, we do know that there is a guaranteed boots hint. So, that could be the only thing that might lure Orange back to Thieves Town to get the boots earlier than possibly a last location.
And right now, that would basically be Orange's best bet.
But yeah, again, none of our runners have elected to check the check any of the hint tiles we have seen, so we do not know this.
And right now, I'm pretty sure the blacksmith's probably wondering on Scruff's side, what in Hyrule am I witnessing?
Yeah, it's like I'm going out of one door and coming out the other. Also, Orange just went into that ledge and found himself in the darkness somewhere. I think.
Oh yeah,
Oh no,
there
it's
is no. To respond to something in chat. Yeah, this is definitely the real Frog World Tour.
now, the real Frog World Tour is going to be if we find Swamp Palace soon. Then the guy will feel right at home.
We have got a bottle with potion in it on Desert Ledge. Now we're gonna get a look at Desert Entrance. Oh hey, the blacksmith actually does not fall, goes back to where the whole sequence starts when you clear a dungeon.
Interesting.
Did not know that.
Oh, we have found Turtle Rock. Interestingly.
Can't do anything with this unless you have Canis Samaria, so that's a save and quit. And I think we got a hammer yump about to happen.
Looks like it. So now the question really does become, where is our hookshot and that other sword? Because we know that this is hard mode, so we know that there are still 2 sword upgrades to be found, with the other one being replaced by a big 20. Once we get the other 2 swords, obviously. But, you know, actually, nobody has checked the Zora area yet, so Orange is finally going to give us our flippers checks. You know, there seems to be, actually, Linkforce, our tracker, points out something good. It's that everything seems to be on the other half of the universe today. You know, it's like Mini Moldorm Cave is on the other half of the world to Moldorm in Skull Woods. You know, Pod is all the way down at Swamp Palace. TR is all the way in the other corner of the universe at Desert.
That would be pretty evil if the swords were vanilla, because that puts Master Sword on the pedestal.
Oh god. If there are 2 swords on the tablets, that could be a disaster waiting to happen here. And we did start with
Dark Room action, and Orange has the old man.
Oh, we see, I noticed that... Oh, so the other item in Pod's, Oh, you know what? Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna must have gotten all the items, so that's why he noped on out. Finally, getting a Zora area check here from Orange. It looks like a heart piece on the ledge, but the king of all scams is still yet to be paid off, with only a meager amount of the rupees we have stockpiled across this run. Answer question chat. Book was in Mini Moldorm Cave, which was somewhere up on Dark Death Mountain, Upper Dark Death Mountain.
Scam artist strikes again.
Yeah. Admittedly, entrance shuffle is not something that I usually remember too particularly well, like where entrances are when it comes to like actual specific entrances, but general areas I can usually do pretty well.
And we just got ourselves spin speed using the Cane of Burna to get out of Spike Cave quickly.
Yeah, very clever use of mechanics there. Because that is a great way to get out of Spike Cave without A, burning a lot of magic, B, taking a lot of, well, yeah, just burning a lot of magic, because you can't spin speed while you're taking damage. I'm curious to see if Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna is going to go check the Ice Palace front door at this point, because he does have Titan's mitts, he does have flippers. But it looks like he's
to be
checking...
going to Hobo.
Yeah, this makes a lot of sense, too, because it's right here. Oh, luckily, the exit out of Death Mountain not too far away from the old man's, entrance there. Oh, we found the other dark side of Death Mountain, by the way.
Yes, that one would be the exit to Death Mountain, if memory serves. I think we just found where that exited. Or was that the back of Old Man Cave? Couldn't tell.
That was the back of the old man cave, yeah, because Orange has to jump down a ledge to get to the old man to his entrance. Oh, Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna giving us a oh no, this isn't a catfish check. Sorry, wrong side of the wrong corner of the Dark World.
Just found a chicken hut. And no chickens hurt in the entering of this location, which is just a big 20.
So at this point, an area that we still have not yet seen that I would like to see relatively soon is the Eastern Palace neighborhood. We have not seen Sahasrala's, we haven't even seen Sahasrala's, what leads to Sahasrala's closet yet. We are getting an ether tablet check here. Just capped cash.
Yep, that one is a whole lot of nothing.
And the inside of Tower of Hera leads to Swamp Palace. Once again, on the other corner of the universe.
That would explain why the entrance to Swamp Palace is bone dry.
And yeah, the dam was... Oh, I don't even remember where the dam was at this point.
Yeah, this mode, there's so much to keep track of. And Link Force calling out its Bonk Rock, so that's another area that Orange cannot get to due to not having the boots.
That's right.
And that's the house of the Lumberjacks at the basically the Spike Cave entrance.
Yeah, at this point, Orange is going to be losing a lot of time the longer he puts off those Pegasus boots. Because again, we know at this point, we've basically filtered out all the drop-downs, so we know Ganon is vanilla. It is Quake to get into whatever is inside the turtle head. Since we know Turtle Rock's not there.
We know that desert, so chat pointing out that it's going to be Desert Palace at Turtle Rock. So today, to get into Desert Palace, which is at Turtle Rock, we need the Quake Medallion. Ain't that a twist?
Yeah. Now, unfortunately, I think Orange wants to check the GT Crystal requirement, but does not have the Titan's mitts, so no way to do so from his current location. Well, actually, we could walk up to Upper Dark Death Mountain from somewhere else, couldn't we? You need 7 crystals to enter.
That game, that's just disgusting. Go eat it.
Yeah, now our runners seriously want to hope that that entrance does not lead to anything important.
Well, they say that an offsuit 7-2 is the worst opening hand to start with in Texas Hold'em poker. And
Oh, I can
honestly,
believe
that
that.
doesn't look like a very good hand for this particular seed.
Yeah, now a blessing in disguise is that whatever is in there cannot be hook shot, ice rod, whatever that quake, since we need that for desert, which is a crystal. There's a few things at least it can't be, which, to be fair, are the items that the items that they cannot be are the items we're still looking for. So conveniently, I don't think we have to worry too much about whatever is in GT at this point.
Yep, it can't be Cana Samaria either, as called out by chat. And we are going to get a look at what is normally at Eastern Palace.
Yeah, and it looks like Orange went out of the whatever the dark cave was. It took him to Sahasra's closet, and we have found the back of Skull Woods.
Now, Skullwood's item count, do we have one outstanding, or...
I believe so. I think we have one outstanding, and this is a crystal.
Well,
Well,
there's
never mind.
one outstanding, so...
Yeah, at this point...
And Orange ain't interested in taking down Mothula, even though I would myself, because, hey, it's Mothula. Mothula is... Oh, we might have a chicken clip.
Nicely
And
done.
we got wall chicken.
Now, here's a question. Did Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna check the pyramid count for Ganon's crystals? I want to say he did, but I wasn't looking. I know I saw Orange check it.
Well, that is true. It might not be Mothula, and let's just say Mothula in its vanilla room is just an awful experience. But there are a few bosses that it cannot be in that room. Like, you can't have a Trinex in that room because it's too small. And Argus can be in that room. However, let me tell you something. As somebody who's had an Argus in that room before, that is a close quarter situation.
Oh my.
Yeah, I kid you not. It's not the most pleasant experience, but it's not the worst experience you can have by far.
Yeah, and another handicap that's inhibiting our runners here, we're still only on Fighter Sword, and we're gonna be stuck on Green Mail the rest of this seed. Now, granted, we have gotten a decent amount of heart containers now, both runners riding pretty high at 11. But now we're at the point where I'm starting to actually wonder if Mr. Scruff goes and full clears. Actually, he can partially clear Swamp. He can at least get to left side with his current equipment. So I'm wondering if Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna is going to elect to check that area. We found the bomb shop.
Yeah, our bomb shop is the Dark World's potion shop.
Actually, that's about the same distance away from the pyramid, all things considering.
And that's the back of Spiral Cave.
Oh, Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna. Second guessing for a second, but I think he realized it might not be a bad idea to go ahead and check Swamp Palace now. Especially considering that there's a significant number of checks you can do here without hookshot.
Yeah, you can get... That first one's always a key. And then there's at least 4 more you can get at the minimum. 5 if you get a big key. And catfish is catfishing.
Yeah, both of our grumpy fishes only gracing us with some big 20s today, so not what we're looking for, unfortunately.
Yeah, the grumpy fishes are really in a grumpy mood today. Orange checking where a fairy is typically, and that is actually
Thieves
where you
hideout.
get an item in the forest. Yep, Thieves Hideout.
Could Cane of Samaria be on pedestal? Absolutely not, because Maya is a pendant.
Not just any pendant, but green pendant as well.
Will Angle 1 be needed? It is highly unlikely, since Lumberjack Tree leads to Back of Escape, which was a free check. Ooh, Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna taking a KO in Swamp. And now Orange picking up the map that he skipped earlier. And it looks like Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna is electing to not go check left side Swamp.
I don't know, that might come back to haunt him.
Well, this is awkward. The old man cave dumps him out right on a dead end.
I don't think awkward even begins to describe that, but that's just me.
Well, to be fair, if you're the old man and you want a nice view of the mountain and the rest of Hyrule, that is an excellent balcony.
Well, if you want a balcony to sing Shakespeare off of, that would be it. Just don't trigger any rock slides, please.
Ah, so that's where this old man's actual cave dumps out. Okay, so that's how Orange got to Eastern Palace. The hills are alive, and they're telling you to be quiet. To the guy who's singing.
With the sound of dead rocks. But which would be fitting for Death Mountain, admittedly.
Yeah, that's another small 20 that Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna already picked up, so... I'm trying to think. Where do we go? Actually, I think front of Ice Palace. Ice Palace entrance might be the next stop if we're going to be leaving behind Left Side Swamp for a while. Oh, we've already seen this shop. Yeah, these are some of the Sphere Zero checks that Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna did earlier, but Orange did not. So we're going to be kind of seeing a lot of repeats for a bit.
And Scruff Ninja Tuna first bonks off a hidden curse rock and then hits the pixel in which you bonk right off the bushes.
We have not seen the Capacity Fairy yet, no.
No, I thought we did. Out in the desert area, question mark?
Well, no, the entrance, like Light Ice Palace, I don't think we've seen. I am still legitimately surprised that Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna hasn't decided to check the Ice Palace neighborhood.
Although this might be the start of such checks.
Oh, and, 1 second. Never mind. Yeah, at this point, I'm just really curious to know where that sword is going to pop up.
Yep. Nah, that is the checkerboard cave, but you only had 10 arrows this time around.
No, nothing of importance here for the moment. Oh, and we have found the smiths.
Now, the question is, what's the reward? Is it a sword or is it something else?
Synchronized
Just to
Big
make
20 pickup.
Yep. I would have been pulling out the hammer and trying to take the Smith's jobs there, but that's just me. Shout out. I learned that little funny detail through another player of this randomizer, a name you might have heard around the community, F. Coughlin. He does lots of silly stuff like that when he plays Zelda 3 Rando.
All right, we're checking another entrance. Nope, these are all entrances we've seen. At this point, remind me again, where was GT's entrance again? It was Pod, that's right. Oh yeah, that's right, because the entrances, it looks like the entrances to the dungeons are all shuffled amongst each other in this case.
Yeah, that's what it's looking like. So that's more of a simple entrance shuffle compared to some of the entrance shuffles that I've seen.
Yeah.
For comparisons, for those that are familiar with the last Zelda 1 Rando main tournament, this is basically a case of where the dungeons are shuffled amongst themselves.
Yeah, so at least we don't have to stress too much about where stuff is, because we should just remember dungeons. But Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna definitely heading in the right direction. I think he's going to go to GT.
Yeah, when he sees number 3, rather, when he sees the torch, I think he's going to be quite relieved.
Yeah, and if Hookshot and a sword happen to be here, Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna will have a very conveniently placed go mode.
Yep. Although ideally he'd want 2 swords, because let's face it, Silverless Master Sword is not a fun time, even with half magic.
Especially on forced green mail at that. Alright. We are finally going to get some new information here from Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna as we check out the left side of GT.
Through a series of carefully placed bonks and a bomb jump, we get over to the first 4, which is a small key. A second small key. A green rupee.
I believe that is our second single rupee, so those are both now accounted for.
And 3 bombs.
Orange getting the 10 arrows out of the back of the brewery location.
Our firebar room is just a big 20. That might have been either the other mail upgrade, the silver arrows, or a piece of heart that was taken out of the item pool.
Well, it wouldn't have been silvers, because silvers are in hard mode. They just only work on Ganon. I think the heart pieces are replaced by 5s, not 20s, so I think that was either our third shield or last mail upgrade.
Possibly. Here's another bomb jump that makes left side GT work. I mean, it's out of logic, but it does work.
And it looks like Orange is heading towards the pedestal. He might just be walking around to go to the back of to go to Skull Woods again.
We got a compass, a big 20.
Shovel.
A piece of heart and a shovel, and that shovel concerns me because that could be something buried away at Haunted Grove that could be needed to beat this seed.
Yeah, I can't imagine it's going to be too long before Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna heads in that direction, but the only thing that could be is a sword, since I think you are expected to have Hookshot to actually traverse the rest of this place.
Yeah, hook shot's definitely needed.
Oh boy.
That's a rarity you do not see every day, folks. A required item in the Ganon's Tower big chest, that quake being that which blocks the Turtle Rock entrance, which is desert today, and there's the lamp! What in the world is this seed?
What is this Ganon's Tower? Yeah, no Armos on ice for us, by the way.
That's a try next. That is a nope, 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 nope. 1,000 times no.
That is a pretty crazy GT, all things considering.
That is nuts. Oh, smokes that, man.
Oh, that's a cool bunny sprite for the Goomba. I didn't notice that was the bunny sprite.
That is a throwback to the original Goomba sprite from Super Mario Bros. 1. That is a throwback to 1985, folks.
Ah, yes. And it looks like Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna is going all the way to the back to fight the boss, which this isn't really that good of a play. Orange is electing to go for bomb strats here on Vitreous.
Well, this seed's been frustrating, so I can think of one way to...
I gotta stop you for a second. Did Orange just pick up the bomb right as it fell back down the hole?
I don't know, I didn't see it.
Or am I just misreading his bomb count and didn't count properly? Because it looked like he threw the bomb, it went down the hole, but he picked it right back up. He might have just pulled one out at the same time and I misread the number. Yeah, I misread the number. Thanks, Link Force. Also, it is Armos Knights and Skull Woods. Not a... Actually, this is kind of tough to do a quick kill when the conveyors are moving on you.
Although it is comical to see the Armos get stuck up on the spikes. I have had that happen before.
Orange electing to be really patient with this Vitreous fight. Those eyeballs do 4 hearts on contact damage.
This might be a point of where you just go for cape and spin strats. That's just me.
Yeah, even then...
Go ahead.
Even then, yeah, Orange has the bottle of blue goo to back him up as well, but I think he's saving that for the second half of the fight. Ooh, and he mistimes the hammer, because, yeah, the hitbox is a little tight.
Yeah, the hammer hitbox is a bit weird in that costume.
But yeah, here's actually one thing I'm a little, worried about. That Quake is technically out of logic since it's locked by Hookshot, so the Hookshot can't be in Desert Palace. So yeah, I'm a little, oh, he's actually going to get the hint that he only needs 2 crystals for Ganon. And, I don't know how he's reacting to that, but I don't think it's particularly pleasant.
Smart move to see what's here at Castle Tower, but it's vanilla, so it's not going to do him any good.
This does help him out, though, because this is 2 more entrances he can take a peek at.
They're both going to be the castle entrances.
Oh, yeah, that's right, because standard start. Yeah, reminder to the audience, regardless of which side of GT you gotta go up, Hookshot is gonna still be required to get to the Moldorm 2 chest. Orange having a lot less trouble dealing with the Vidi eyeballs this time. Much better bow aiming, but is out of arrows.
So that's going to put phase 2 as a Master Sword, as a rather spins or a hammer affair. Uh-oh.
He's gotten hit twice again, so again, those eyes deal 4 hearts. Not friendly. Now, an advantage is that, ironically, the Moldorm fall hole allowing Vidi to not ascend as rapidly. So yeah, Orange able to stay put, and Orange able to take down Vitreous.
Nicely done.
For yet another small 20. That's 4 we've now seen, correct?
Yeah.
Huh. Oh, heart containers are 20s. Okay, so yeah, that's a heart container. So that means we have found all heart containers.
And we are going to get a pedestal check. Let's see what we got here.
A better copy of your sword.
Are you kidding? Oh. Game is pulling a nasty. That might make... Oh, don't tell me that play for Quake's required.
I don't think so. Because I'm trying to think. The only reason that could be a particularly giant headache... Yeah, hang on a minute here. We've seen Tower of Hera, we've seen Eastern. What dungeons have we not seen the entrance to yet? Ice Mire and GT itself.
Yeah, so the front of Mire, rather Misery Mire itself, could be shuffled to where Ice Palace is, and if that's the case...
Then we're looking for Kane to beat that.
And meanwhile, Orange just got chased back into Thieves Town by a Keaton mugger, and well, this is going to turn out good for him. I'll say that much.
Oh, and Ice Palace. I stand corrected. We have not seen Eastern because we now know where Eastern is. It is Ice Palace's entrance. So, this is actually pretty good news. With the lamp in tow, Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna can full clear this dungeon regardless of what it throws at him.
And knowing what we just saw moments ago, it would behoove him to clear this dungeon. Well, if it throws a Trinex at him, then we know it's a boss shuffle where the boss numbers themselves are randomized, aka chaos.
Yeah, we have seen 2 Landmolus at this point as well.
There are 2 Landmos fights in the vanilla game at Orange
true.
that didn't break, but it doesn't.
Alright, not much going out of Eastern Palace just yet. So far, just the map and the compass rather, and the big key. No items.
I'm almost expecting Hookshot to pop up here based off what we saw.
Ah, and the hints are on. Also, Ice Palace leads to Eastern. Thanks, game.
Yeah.
It's not like we're already in Eastern Palace right now.
The hint system can sometimes has a bit of a redundancy factor to it naturally.
As a runner of the Metroid Prime 2 randomizer, I can fully attest to that statement.
I need to watch that. And we've got the boots, and Orange is just going to do a save quit out.
Now here's the next $1 million question. Will Orange drop what he's doing and go straight back to GT? Or head on down to someplace else that he had to leave out due to boots lock issues. And I believe our last item in Eastern is on the boss.
Yes, it is. So Scruff's gonna head right there. But it's gotta be something he can beat, however. So it can't be an Argus. Cold Stare is an option. But Argus is not a great option, I agree, but it is doable with how he's set up for equipment, half magic, and fire rod. He'll at least be able to take care of it.
Yeah, this is, I'm very curious to see how this plays out. And now that Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna knows that hints are enabled, that was also a really weird ball pattern, by the way, 5 in a row from the same tunnel.
You do not see that very often.
But yeah, the bosses, we can't kill Trinex, we can't kill Argus, we've seen that we can kill Vidi. Not comfortably, but we can kill Vidi. But the boss in Eastern is Argus, so that is a big solid nope again for Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna, and Orange has gone straight back for the GT Big Key.
A good call to make there. But now, knowing what we just found out, do we have to go to the top of Ganon's Tower for something? It's a bit of a hike for literally 3 checks that you can do in logic.
Yeah,
but
3.
It might be what's necessary.
Fascinating. Yeah, 3 checks, because the last one is Moldorm 2, and that requires either hookshot or mad hover skills. Or, if you're Aussie 101, you just do the Moldorm bounce.
I've seen that, it looks really cool. And the shovel leads to a piece of heart.
Nope, that's not what we're looking for. So at this point, this should also confirm that Ganon's Tower only locks out Misery Mire. So 7 crystals takes you to Mire. Since it can't be Ice Palace, that's a crystal.
Now, there is one other way to get over to the Mire area in Entrance Shuffle that does not require the flute. You have to, however, one of the connecting caves has to bring you over there.
Right, so like from the right side, either of the 2 Mire sheds, for example.
Yep, there is the refill cave, where if you want a bomb upgrade or an arrow upgrade, pay 100 rupees, and Scruff is interested in one of each.
Given the rupees we have this seed, again, we've just seen an obnoxiously large amount this seed. I do not blame him for deciding to spend a little bit of that extra cash.
I find the arrow one to be particularly helpful to buy after dealing with a fighter sword Vitreous, just for the arrow refill.
Oh, yes.
The shovel spot was just checked recently. It's a piece of heart.
Now, we would also like to point out that of the 8 entrants we have had in this race this afternoon, 1 has forfeited fairly early, actually, quite a while back, and but there are no finishers at this time. So, apparently, these 2 aren't the only ones struggling with the seed.
And Orange sees the Trinex and instantly mirrors.
And he's not going to the top.
That might have been the play that sprang him ahead, if it turned out to be something. But there is one problem. There is a boss room on floor 4, and if that 4th floor turns out to be something you can't beat, yes, it's a time save, but yeah. And also pointed out by chat, he didn't go to big chest first, so he does not get... Wait. And we get the bug net out of purple chest.
Oh, you know what we actually really need to see right now? We need to see the Bombos tablet. Well, actually, no. There's still technically 3 sword items in the pool. The last one just gets swapped to a big 20, right?
Basically, yes.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think. I'm trying to imagine what dastardly scenario could have us required to go into Misery Mire, to Pendant Misery Mire from GT to get Master Sword, because that's the only thing that could be the issue, because if Bombos Tablet has another sword, that's 2 swords we know about, Pedestal and Bombos Tablet, but I can't think of another one where that would be another location where a sword could be outside of Mire. Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna, what are you doing? He may have gotten stuck on the wall, apparently. Either that or he's thinking very hard.
A little too hard, but that might have been a stuck-on-the-wall situation. This is a Hookshot Cave revisit. I'm trying to think of why, unless this is to get back up the mountain.
Well, he didn't get the first chest, I don't think, either. Never mind.
He did, but it was just a 5. No, he's going for TR. Which is going to be desert, which is going to be clearable.
It's going to be clearable, but the only thing it can have is a sword, since, again, the Quake is out of logic. And I think he might be just realizing that. Yeah, I think he's actually very confused right now.
This mode will confuse anybody, for real. Although I do think the one entrance I haven't seen is by Link's house.
Well, Link's,
Those bonk rocks.
Oh, yeah! Also, apparently he was getting stuck in the walls.
I think the only time that's ever happened to me was when an enemy hit me into the wall.
That might have been getting hit in the wall. I'm actually not 100% sure. We'll ask him that during the interview. If they have the patience for one after this seed.
Good point.
Alright, so now Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna is going for... Actually, if I were as lost as he was at this point, I would start looking for hint tiles, since I know those are active. Because I'm not necessarily sure it's guaranteed, but I would say there's a decent chance you'll find the hookshot hint there somewhere.
Or hope there's a hookshot hint.
Yeah, something like a unique item or some sort of indication that may answer a question you haven't not yet answered.
Another one that could potentially be is, say, a unique item, and a unique item is in left side swamp. I could see that potential happening, because version 30 defaulted with hints on. Left side swamp was a hint that was commonly seen.
Very true, very true. West Wing of Swamp Palace, needs fire in Tower of Hera. Which, granted, Hera's basement we know is the small key anyway, so... Oh, okay, so I guess you can get to the big GT big chest from the right side. Okay, that makes sense.
Totally does. Because this logic train is very confusing to follow, I have to admit.
You have to tell me twice. A small key on the torch there, so quick pickup. The hammer can be found in well. Thanks, game. We only just got it like 5 minutes in.
Yeah, well, that just goes to prove that in terms of hints, the game dropped a hammer in the well.
Yep. Oh, there's the map too, so Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna is probably going to check the right end. Now we did not see Left Side Swamp from Scruff because Orange decided to, or I should say because he decided to bail on it after taking that KO in the main hall. So we'll see if Orange decides to, Orange does make it to the end to go check that. He's running a little low on hearts here.
And Scruff just found Mini Moldorm Cave through, well, we'll call this calculated routing.
Yeah, that's...
I don't know what else to call it at this point.
Yeah, we have seen this, so at this point, all this is going to yield for Scruff is a book, and I think some extra health, that's about it.
Well, consider the timeliness of the piece of heart. That was the 4th, so that gave him a new heart container, bringing him up to 13.
You know, Orange dropped down into this cave, while in Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna's case, he could mirror to it. Alright, 2 more checks in the middle of desert here. Yet another 20, most likely a heart container. And the mushroom. Oh boy.
I think this is a point where if you do turn it in, it would not be a bad idea to save Stomach, considering the things this seed has done.
Yeah, that is also both items in desert, so desert is only good for a red crystal now. Although, interestingly, we still need hookshot for the other 5, 6, so...
Sword at Pyramid Fairy, potentially?
Maybe.
Meanwhile, we are going to get some entrance checks on Death Mountain. That's the front of the bar. And over at Mimic Cave will be something else in its own way. Which... Oh,
yeah,
he's just
Orange.
going in.
Meanwhile, Orange has successfully made it to Left Side Swamp. First item is a pack of bombs. Oh yeah, that's right. We've seen Mimic Cave. It was the old man. And...
That's our access to the Mire area!
That changes things tremendously. Now, here's a hiccup, though, for Orange. He's still missing Titan's Mitts. So...
Weird question being, where... Oh yeah, those were at King's Tomb. You had to mirror to get there.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, whatever check was King's Tomb.
And we got a three-eyed Moldorm.
And it's a three-eyed Moldorm, but given that it's in desert, this is so free.
Wouldn't be so free if the fight were in 3D like the final phase of Puppet Ganon in Wind Waker.
Oh,
You're
jeez.
basically fighting... Yeah, you're basically fighting a Moldorm in a 3D plane.
I didn't actually think of it that way either, you know what? So I'm gonna remember that now.
Meanwhile, the bird is the word for this seed, and it just might be for go mode in more ways than one. Huh?
Yeah, and a reminder to the audience, Misery Mire leads to, the Mire entrance has to lead to Ice Palace at this point. Which we know is a full clearable dungeon right now. Well, actually, yeah, because we're looking for medallions still if Mire doesn't need Quake, but it's still curious to know what the other two entrances in front of Mire Shed are.
Now, here's the thing. If none of them are connectors that lead to outside the Mire area, then that's hard required. And we're not getting a save Scum of the Mushroom. Scruff is just doing a save and going for it.
Yeah, he has got to hope that this is a, he has got to hope that this is Hookshot, otherwise, we're still looking.
Orange has the Titan's mitts.
So yeah, I gotta figure he's going straight to Mire at this point.
No doubt.
I mean, we really are kind of out of checks at this point. Oh, you know what other entrance, we haven't seen? That back of desert area. Oh, almost for Ice Palace. Oh, we found Pyramid Fairy, which has the hook shot!
Wow, we get a hook shot from Mire Shed's Pyramid Fairy. We're in sword mode, folks. So yeah, we're asking ourselves, where's the sword?
Well, we found the other end of Turtle Rock.
Actually, this is doable to... Oh, wait, you need the big key. Never mind. Wait a minute. Can't you technically backdoor to get to a key?
It looks like that's what Orange was trying to do.
Yeah, but you can't do it that way because you're just gonna get shot and killed. Or not.
Orange is just saying...
Fine. I like being proven wrong.
Yeah,
from
Orange
time to time.
If Orange could talk to us through the commentary stream, I bet he would be asking, you were saying?
Yeah. But yeah, Canis Samaria can definitely be here in any non-Canis Samaria locked check because of how this logic works. Oh no! Orange gets rebounded.
Pingas? Something like that, right?
Scruff's making the climb, but unless he knows how to hover, he's not going to be finishing.
Yeah, we know Hookshot's not there.
Best bet is that we find out it's Chaos Boss Shuffle late and a Trinexer and Argus shows up.
Oh, that's gonna be an even bigger, slap in the face if it's Argus on Lamolus 2.
Yeah, but knowing what we know, that would be not only a slap in the face, it'd be a real kick in the butt. Well, Big Key is vanilla, so now the Big Key chest is in play. But what else is in play in this scenario?
Laser
The
bridge.
chain chomp. The chain chomp chest and the crystal roller chest. That's it. Laser bridge is not quite in play because I think it's at that other entrance.
Yeah, actually, we need
the
some
one you have to
Mario.
mirror to.
We actually need some Mario, so never mind.
I think you can use mirror and get there from the dark world. Remember?
Maybe. Ooh, Orange just got very dangerously bitten there.
10 arrows. Yep, that's a mirror point. As we've got Scruff in Gauntlet. Small key and big chest.
And it's just the Armos Knights for Landmolus 2, so no issues for Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna getting this out of the picture. There's another.
He takes care of it before it enrages.
There's another small key for Orange in.
Yeah, that's the crystal roller chest. So now I think you have to mirror in a precise position in order to get over to the laser bridge. Memory serves me for how this is mapped. But I'm not familiar with where that position is because I've never had to do it like this.
Yeah, I'm at a complete loss for how to handle this one.
Nice dodge. There's the expensive shop.
That's a good spot for it, right next to a dungeon.
Well, if Vitreous were there, that would actually be a fitting spot for those arrows.
Starting to finally get a look at the last 4 chests, and there is a second sword. If Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna can hover Moldorm 2 right now, he can swipe this game out from right under Orange's nose.
And based off of what he just did with the save and quit, that's a no. However, I dare wager that sword upgrade was worth it.
It's definitely helpful. However, I don't know if this is going to lead him to left side swamp at this point. Because, yeah, in Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna's case, he's still looking for the hook shot. In Orange's case, he's still looking for that second sword.
So pedestal would be helpful, but it is not strictly required for this one. Actually, I think he's going straight for the Bombos tablet.
Yeah, actually, to clarify something in chat, Quake isn't required since it's only 2 Crystal Ganon and Desert Palace was Turtle Rock's entrance and it had nothing. So, yeah, if this were 7-7, we'd be singing a much different tune here.
Bombs at the Bombos tablet. I believe Orange is trying for item dash for the hook shot there, but it didn't connect. One of our runners did check that earlier, and it is a 7 crystal entrance to get into GT.
And we do know that that GT entrance leads to Misery Mire at this point. Since the only other option we had debating at the time was Ice Palace, which is a crystal, but since you need 7 crystals to get in, that kinda makes that location unenterable, if that were the case, so...
Yeah.
So yeah, we've got, so ultimately the seed is a 7-2, some form of boss shuffle. What's the term you had for entrance randomizer? Like a light entrance randomizer or casual? What was it again?
No, the term, I'll describe it the way I described it. Basically, it's like a flag that was used in the most recent Zelda 1 Rando tournament, where the entrances for the dungeons were shuffled amongst themselves.
And Scruff bailed after the Ether Tablet did not go back to Left Side Swamp.
And we're about to get an Argus fight. Spin strats being used by Orange to beat these puffs. As with Fighter Sword, that is one of only 2 options to damage the puffs. The other one being menuing the hammer constantly.
Yeah, now, it would be absolutely insane right now if this is our last sword. Because it could be. This is, there is still one item unaccounted for in Eastern. Ooh, nice, quick reflex shot there. Argus got to be a little careful with his health. Argus does still kind of hit like a truck.
Argus didn't jump after that double fire rod shot. Takes a third, and it's just 3 bombs. But that is boss clear. Yep, basically this is a simple dungeon shuffle with randomized entrances, or as we call it in Zelda 1 Rando, a cave shuffle, because all the entrances are caves. That's definitely not the case with A Link to the Past Rando. I blame that terminology on NES limitations, especially in the early days.
Alright, Scruff is going back into Tower of Hera to try and take on Vidi again. Not with much better equipment compared to what, well, actually, significantly better with the Master Sword, to be fair, but even still, not a lot to work with here.
At least Master Sword slashes will do... Well, actually, the Master Sword itself will lead to more damage from that alone. Yes, the pedestal clue said it was a sword. However, if we have all 3 swords by that point, that unknown sword becomes an unknown big 20.
Does the text on the pedestal actually reflect that if you did pick up all 3 swords before that?
That is a very good question, as I have not seen that scenario myself.
Yeah, well, either way, so I'm actually kind of trying to think where that last sword could be. That isn't the Ice Palace locked, or the 7 crystal locked Ice Palace from GT.
Moldorm 2 chest?
It could be. Be ridiculously trollish considering there already is a sword in the top 4 chests.
Yeah, it would be about that would actually be the worst thing I've seen from Sword Logic, since an earlier version had a thing, and I want to say it was like someone who's played this could oh, there's the Key to Samaria in the hookshot cave!
That's pretty good. That's That opens up the rest of Turtle Rock, and it opens up it opens up right side GT.
That could have a sword, and that back to what I was saying earlier. There was an earlier version, I want to say it was version 24, that had a thing for putting multiple swords in Ganon's tower. It was not uncommon for Siege to have 3 swords in GT as a result, and that drew some frustration from some folks.
Oh my. And it looks like Orange is going to take that cane, and I think he's going for Laser Bridge.
Scruff does not want it. But
I think he knows I think he knows that pendant is useless at this point.
Yeah, I could still see myself picking it up for a health refill, but that's just me.
But yeah, we still have 1 sword unaccounted for, and we have 4 checks coming up here in Laser Bridge. Well, 3. One of them I think has to be a small key.
Well, that's irrelevant at this point, even if it is, because we have the key needed to get to the boss here.
Very true. Moment of truth. Is our 4th sword in Laser Bridge?
No, but Powder is.
Yet another
14th
fetch quest
card.
item. That's a hard container, most likely. Now, I think we've seen the dungeon. No, we have not seen the dungeon map, so either the dungeon map is in the front door, or it is on whatever this boss is. I have to wager a trip to the Magic Bat's probably the next thing on Orange's to-do list.
Which would be quite understandable, considering what was found. And we found Blind.
Okay, so this fight, I mean, you burn a half magic. This fight's free.
Yeah, it's just those spikes in the top half would be annoying otherwise.
Oh, Scruff is going back for left side swamp. And it's another 20 in, another replace 20 on Blind.
So now, Orange is going into the front of Turtle Rock for the checks that were unattainable early.
Yeah, I think we're still missing 1 item in Turtle Rock.
That's not the item.
Yeah, I know the map is, we are still missing the map, and that could be anywhere. The goal, to answer your question, chat, it is a 7-2 defeat Ganon, Randomizer, boss shuffle only, with entrance randomized but simple dungeon randomizer, and assured sword start. Also hard mode.
Orange is headed to GT with the intention of finishing the dungeon off, but little does he know that there's a sword waiting for him on the climb. But is that the only sword that's up there? We shall see.
Well, regardless of whether or not it is, that sword will put orange in go mode.
And then that just leaves one thing left, a silverless master sword fight between him and finishing the seed off. And we welcome in a new audience, Speed Gaming Deutsch. Thanks for the raid. This is Miscellaneous Monday, a mystery seed for a Link to the Past randomizer that rolled 7 crystals to enter the GT entrance, 2 to beat Ganon, and I say the term entrance because it is an entrance shuffle where the dungeons are shuffled amongst themselves.
I gotta stop you for a second there, Chief. After finding the flute, it would appear according to my entrance list that Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna has elected to forfeit the race.
Understandable, because this mode is quite time consuming.
Oh boy. Oh, Orange is even deciding to check Tile Room here, and it has another sword!
That is just rotten! Oh my goodness!
So we finally have the entire seed put together. We finally put this whole seed together. Well, maybe. We still don't know if it's Trinexon Moldorm 2. Can it actually be Trinexon Moldorm 2? Now that I say that out loud.
I don't think so. If it's a simple boss shuffle. If it's a full-on chaos, then maybe. But anyway, GG's to Scruff for sticking it out through this, because... whoo boy! This seed was something else. Like, 2 of the swords were in Ganon's tower, and the third one was basically behind the GT entrance.
So the third X. Hookshot was, the Pyramid Fairy entrance was the Mire Shed. The flute was in, left side swamp. So you were expected to go to left side swamp for the flute. The Titan's Mitts were in King's Tomb. The King's Tomb entrance, which led to the C-shaped house.
That is quite understandable, because as someone who plays this random myself, Swamp without Hookshot is one of my least favorite plays to make. Yet this seed mandated it.
Yeah, and so we now have confirmed our sword locations are the one we got at the start of the game, Pedestal, 2 chests before Moldorm 2, and
Tile Room.
Tile Room. Yeesh!
Yeah! In terms of swords, this seed was brutal.
Actually, this is going to be kind of a blessing for Orange if he checks these upper 2 chests, because this is going to give him Tempered Sword Silverless. I'm going to laugh if Silvers are in Moldorm 2's chest, by the way.
Yeah, Ganon was vulnerable on 2 crystals, but you still had to clear Ganon's tower.
Yeah, you do have to clear GT, because Ganon is vanilla location. To answer question, Chad, hard mode has Silvers, but they can only be used on Ganon. They won't work on other bosses.
Which is unfortunate, because Silvers make Vitreous super easy.
And Orange is electing to just reload the room.
Missing a torch, that's the better strategy to take.
Nice use of respawn mechanics there.
He's going right for it. Although I thought I heard somebody say to me that silvers are removed from hard mode. This was a while ago, so that may not be true. And Orange does check the chest closest to the door. That might have been why he checked that one. And he's got himself up to tempered.
Where did Orange get Master Sword?
Power him.
Yeah. And it is Cold Stare for Moldorm 2, so this fight should be doable, but not easy. This arena is kind of weird.
It's weird, and you have to clear phase 1 at the minimum in order for the door to open, so those who like to hover aren't going to be able to do so easily here. Sorry, Andy. And there's the Ether Medallion.
The one useless medallion of the whole seed.
And it was worth noting that Scruff chose the Goomba sprite, with Orange going as the Moogle. We have a great spriting community behind the scenes that does all the sprite work. You know, there's one sprite I should ask them for, and I'll admit part of it is because I've fallen down the Persona 5 Royal Rabbit Hole. How about a Joker sprite?
I'm curious to see how that would look. Customized sprites were actually just integrated by default into the Super Metroid Zelda 3 Combo Randomizer in version 11. You no longer need to use a custom sprite injection. Oh, Agatu's position here, not good for Orange.
That was good to get one off that pattern.
Lamp was in Bob's chest. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time, finally, to face the big pig.
So yeah, this was a seed.
Yep, it was. My minions failed to guard all these items? Why am I surrounded by such incompetent fools? Alright, so I gotta ask, is that a reference to something?
I'm not sure what that's a reference to.
It sounds like it might be a movie quote.
Or a paraphrase of some kind.
Yeah, for now, Orange handling this fight relatively well, but minor hiccup, he is down to 4 hearts. And a Ganon Hug will do 8, so pretty much nothing he does he'll be able to survive except one contact with a Fire Bat. That's it. Did you find the silver arrows in a basement?
Interesting remark. What basement could that be, chat?
Because it can't be Hera basement, we got both items. I'm confused.
Well, Ice Palace would... Yeah, this seed had no good routing to it.
Blind's basement was silvers?
No. Gamachu and chat's clearing this up. Is that you get a hint of the first bow, but not the second one.
Oh, yeah, and the first bow was in Blind's hut. You're right. But looks like Orange had no trouble with a Tempered Sword Silverless Ganon. So, ladies and gentlemen, assuming there is not a hiccup on this 1x3 bridge up here, get your GGs in for Orange, who will finish this race first place on our restream, third place overall with a time official SRL time of 2:13:30. Our first and second place winners, respectively, are Gamachu with an SRL time of 1:52:35, and Plasma Kappa finishing just 15 seconds ahead of Orange with a 2:13:15.
Send help. But comment in the rate from Orange. What did I just play? That's quite fitting, because what did we just witness is my...
Well, hopefully we will answer that in a second, as Orange is making his way up to the booth. So Orange, welcome aboard. GG's, and God bless you for putting up with that ridiculous seed.
What did I just play?
Would you like me to explain?
I would say a hard required Samaria for 2 swords in GT.
We think so.
1 sword.
Well, it could have been either way, actually, because the hookshot was in the Meyer Shed entrance, which led to Pyramid Ferry, which was locked by Flute, which was in Left Side Swamp, which was... It could have been either or, honestly.
Yeah. I was starting to get really nervous going into Turtle Rock, or at least the back, because I was starting to think, I'm going to have to get all 7 crystals just to get access to Misery Mire and pull the pet for a Go Mode Master Sword.
Yeah, we were starting to dream up some like nasty scenarios where that would actually be required, because we couldn't figure out where that the other sword was. Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna, who was our other restream runner, basically got Flute and Swamp at about the 2 hour mark and decided to call it a day.
Actually, based off what I was reading in IRC, he had something else real life to take care of, so he had to bounce.
Fair enough. But yeah, that was not a friendly seed by any stretch of the imagination. At least for an Enemizer boss shuffle, it wasn't too bad. All things considering, heart pieces and heart containers were fairly aplenty this seed as well.
Yeah, for hard mode, it was great.
Yeah, it started getting to the point where all the heart containers started getting replaced by 20s.
It wasn't even the nastiness of the swords that bothered me. It was the fact that I went into Thieves Town, found 3 items in the front, went straight to the boss, and I was like, there's 1 item in the back. It won't bite me in the butt. Guess what bit me in the butt?
Yep, that's how it is. You think that item in the back's not gonna bite you in the butt, it gets you. That one time you think it's not gonna be anything, it gets you.
Yeah, it happened to be, what was the pattern? It was Boots, which led to King's Tomb, which led you to Titan's Mitts in the C-shaped house, which could let you do, which was one of the 2 things you needed after Flute and Left Side Swamp, which Swamp's entrance was Tower of Hera. Which, did you need Mitts to get up there? I don't think so. We got Mirror fairly early, Mirror and Hammer, so...
Where was the location again?
Swamp was Tower of Hera. Or Tower of Hera's entrance led to Swamp Palace. And that led to
you
Flute.
You needed Mirror and Flippers to get up there as early as possible.
Yeah, and Flippers were in Pod, which was at...
It was at
Where
the
was
swamp
Pod?
entrance.
Okay, so you didn't need Mitts for any of that sequence, but yeah, no, that was a pretty crazy chain for this seed to wind down. So you could have gone either way for GT for the second sword. You could have either, well, actually, you technically needed hookshot either way because for the last sword, because either it was in the top of GT, or it was in Tile Room, which is cane locked, and the cane was in Hookshot Cave.
I really wanted to go for that climb without hookshot, but I was like, no, my hover game isn't what it used to be. I need to bail out.
Yeah, actually, we were wondering about that because it got to a point where it was like, if the boss can be hovered over, then yeah, that's that's going to be seat over without hookshot, but not the case. Nevertheless, we got to give you credit for pulling through despite everything that we have seen.
Oh, believe me, if I wasn't being restrained, I probably would have forfeited after those boots.
Yeah, we're actually looking at the list now. Half of the racers in the entrance list didn't make it to the end, unfortunately.
Let's see.
Because we had 8, there's still 1 running, and that 1 runner has not put in a time yet.
Little disappointed I got sniped by Kappa at the end.
Yeah, that is a close finish. That is a close finish.
Yeah. I've had one slightly closer than that in the 2018 tournament because I failed Silver the Smasher Sword first time. I will leave it at that.
Well, is there anything else you'd like to say about this seed before we close out Orange?
I got my hopes up so much when I saw 2 Crystal defeat Ganon and GT wasn't pod, and I had 2 crystals really early.
I think we all did, honestly. Especially considering that we knew it was at the very least entrance randomizer with at least a boss shuffle.
It was full.
Yeah, full boss shuffle, that's right.
Well, full entrance rando, but yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Just
used
about.
to crossed.
But with that said, once again, GG's to our runners. If you have not already, please give our runners a follow. And also, we want to take a moment to shout out our tracker, LinkForce0, who could not join us all the way to the end. But nevertheless, he stuck with us throughout the majority of the seed. And we thank him for pressing all the buttons and keeping us in check. And for being a really good knowledge of the entrance randomizer logic, because he got me when it came to a few things.
Yeah, got me too. I learned something from this one, I have to admit.
And Leslie, pleasure joining you, of course, up here in the booth.
Absolutely, a heck of a way to spend part of my Monday. While there are other things to deal with today, well, this was a fun little distraction, and I actually learned something from a scaled down version of entrance, not the full-on cross keys, because I think the last time I did commentary for cross keys, my brain hurt after that. I'm not gonna lie.
I think I remember calming a mystery seed that it might have been an inverted cross keys, but it was I think it was an inverted entrance randomizer, but I don't know if it was cross keys. But it was nasty.
Oh boy, that does sound nasty. Holy smokes.
But yeah, with that, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for joining us for this miscellaneous Monday event. We do not have a daily race planned for the 9 o'clock hour. However, if you are looking for more Link to the Past randomizer action currently right now, the Link to the Past Randomizer League continues on the main Speed Gaming channel. Most likely we'll be going to host them momentarily. The Double Dippers versus CLW race of Ed Domp versus Nabs, it looks like, if I'm pronouncing those names correctly. My apologies if I just butchered that. That race has just about gone underway. We have more Link to the Past Randomizer League action at 5:40 p.m. Eastern Time, with Super Metroid Zelda 3 starting a short time later at 6:10, plus a ton of other races down the pipe for later tonight. So we invite you to come and join us for those. There is a lot more fun to be had tonight. But with that said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for watching. Have a great night, and we will see you next time.
Take care, y'all. See you next time.